Shalom Aleichem, friends. Welcome back to Rabbi on the Hot Seat. I hope you watched each of the last 24 episodes. If you haven't, it's not too late. Go back, watch them now. They're life-changing. Share them with your friends. Notifications, likes, do everything. My name is Rabbi Dov Ber Cohen. I'm here to answer all your questions. Dance music DJ, martial artist, Kabbalist. Let's go.
I am an emotional eater. Do you have any advice on how I can stop myself eating when I am emotional?
It's a good question. What we need to first understand is the reason for emotional eating is because it makes you feel good in that moment. So it's putting a band-aid over the wound. So what our sages suggest is doing something called hitbonenut, which means contemplate before you do it. Now that works because firstly, it just takes away the craving. It's taking you out of your kind of heart need to put that food in your mouth, taking into your head where you can just say, do I really need this? Is this really going to give me what I really want? How am I going to feel about myself after I eat that? How am I going to, and hopefully just by taking that 1 minute to contemplate what you're about to do, it will take away the burning desire to eat that food, and then you need to replace it with something positive. So maybe every time you're about to reach for something, either reach for a more healthy thing like a carrot, or say I'm going to do 10 push-ups now, and then you have to enjoy the feeling of self-worth and growth that you get from having done that, because that creates positive reinforcement, and then you want to do it again next time.
I often lose my temper. Do you have any advice on how I can control myself in that moment?
In that moment, breath, breath, breath. Breathe deeply through your nose. First thing, by the way, is you need an internal gauge. As you see anger arising, the quicker you can catch it, the better it's going to be. Once it's arisen and it's taken over you, it's very, very difficult to deal with anger. Our sages even say that your soul leaves you when you get angry, so it's very hard to fight your anger. Breath is the key on a spiritual level, because the word for breath, neshima, is connected to neshama. So when you breathe through your nose, you bring your neshama back, and your neshama never gets angry, so the power of your neshama helps calm you down. But on the less spiritual level, just taking a deep breath gives you that moment to pause, and then rather than reacting to your anger and shouting and doing something you regret later, you might be able to just have that moment of self-control to do the right thing. It's very actually similar to the eating question. Just to take that moment to stop reacting to a situation and rather respond in a healthier way.
My kids don't listen to me. Should I let them make their own mistakes even though it hurts me?
I think there are many answers to this question, but one is if they're not listening to you anyway, you don't have much choice. So what I would say to you is, look kids, and it depends how old they are. Look kids, I love you, I want the best for you. This is what I suggest you do. I think the behavior you're doing is not actually good for you and it's going to hurt you in the end, but you're your own people. I trust you to make the right decision. And then yes, if they're not going to listen to you anyway, let them make their mistakes and just show that you're there for them and you'll support them and you'll love them even if they make a mistake, and you'll pick them up again when they're drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning and they call you and they're like, Dad, I'm lying in my vomit. Say, okay, I'm not going to mention it. I'll be there. I'll pick you up, until eventually, hopefully they grow up and start making the right decisions. But they trust you because you always gave them the advice. Let them make their own decision and then unconditionally love them, whatever they did.
My father has recently retired and now seems to be getting depressed. Do you have any suggestions on how to help him?
Yes, very difficult, because many people, especially in that generation, got their whole sense of self based on their career. So, I am a lawyer. So my father as well, he was a very successful lawyer, and he retired a little bit later because he said this basically. He said, who am I once I retire? But then we did the two main things. So the answer number one is chesed. Chesed, use your time to go and help other people. Visit older people than you who can't walk, or do shopping for people, or teach people. Chesed is really the key to give you meaning in your life. And the second thing is a pleasurable hobby or activity. Golf, tennis, walking in nature. In fact, retirement could be the best. I'm actually really looking forward to it. It could be the best time of your life. You don't have responsibilities anymore. You can go and travel the world. You can go and learn things you didn't learn before. You can learn instruments, many, many different things. So you could actually flip the whole thing and say your sense of self no longer comes from your career and your job. And look back on your life. You had a good life. You had a noble job. You raised kids who are doing well in life. And now you can just get to enjoy your retirement with these two main factors, chesed and pleasurable activities.
My wife and I come from very different financial backgrounds, and she wants to have a separate bank account for me. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, it depends. Are you taking that personally? She doesn't trust you, or I think you need to communicate with each other and work out for yourself, why is that hurtful for me? My wife and I, we've had a joint bank account for our whole lives and I just put all the money in and she uses it all and we're okay with that. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm saying that's an expression of the oneness of our souls. If my wife said to me that she wants a separate bank account and she explained why, because she wants to earn her own money and feel that she can buy herself stuff and it gives her a sense of self, I'll completely support her in doing that. So I think the real question is, what are you making that mean? You making that mean that she doesn't feel emotionally connected to you or spiritually connected to you? So you've got to really communicate with your wife, find out where she's coming from, and in general, I think is good advice. I let my wife do what she wants because why not?
Sometimes my only quiet time is on the toilet. Can I watch these episodes there?
For those of you who don't know, the question is coming from the idea that you're not allowed to learn Torah on the toilet. And there is Torah in some of these episodes. So one would imagine what you should do first is you should watch the whole episode outside of the toilet. And if there's no Torah content, because we're just talking about personal growth or sex or whatever we're talking about, then those are the episodes you should listen to in the toilet. In fact, maybe I'll talk to Benny, our director, and on the YouTube page, we should say toilet approved. You know what? We should put that at the beginning of the episode. This is a toilet approved episode. We'll have a sign. Toilet approved episode. By the way, we got to work out how to get yourself a little bit of quiet time when you're not on the toilet. And by the way, I know you. I don't think your time in the toilet is particularly quiet.
My boyfriend wants me to go with him to Thailand for the summer, but I want to go to Jerusalem to get in touch with my spirituality. Am I being selfish?
Well, not necessarily selfish. You're just expressing different values, which is something that's very, very important in a relationship. So if you have a good relationship that is based on having the same values and you communicate well, this is definitely a problem that you can work through. Maybe you can spend half the time in Jerusalem and half the time in Thailand and come to some sort of compromise. But this is more of a relationships question, because I can see it would be actually very nice to go to Thailand together. It would be romantic, and you go scuba diving together, and you go on beautiful hikes together and beautiful kosher restaurants together, and you go to Shabbat together. It could be an amazing experience. But if you're saying, no, I'm not interested in that lifestyle, I want to tap into deep spirituality, and your boyfriend's actually not interested in deep spirituality, then maybe you'd have to question the whole relationship in the first place. But maybe he is into spirituality, but he does it a lot, but he just wants to relax. So I don't know the answer. Communicate with each other. Be open. Be vulnerable. Say, this is what I need. This is how I feel, and come to some sort of compromise.
Should I work hard and wait for a promotion, or should I go and ask for it?
In another episode, I said that there are 3 positive responses to every difficult situation. Number 1, change the situation. Number 2, leave the situation. Number 3, change yourself. Accept the situation and adapt. So in this case, you have to choose which one of these applies. If you want to go for number 1, the direct route, go up to your boss and say, hey, boss, can I please have a promotion? This is what I need and this is why I need it. If the boss says no, then do the work you need to do in order to get the promotion. But I wouldn't sit there doing the work and feeling resentful and saying, I wish, why didn't I go and talk to him? Maybe don't do that. First, we want to be active. We want to be proactive. If you think that it could cause a problem with your boss and then you're going to get fired, so I don't know your situation, then yes, maybe you need to put a little bit of work in. But just understand, out of these 3 options, change the situation, leave the situation, or adapt and accept and grow from the situation, you have to choose which one of these applies.
I want to go on a silent meditation retreat for 2 weeks. Would Judaism have any issues with this?
The idea of being silent is very central to Jewish wisdom and spirituality. Pirkei Avot says that shtika is very important to be able to find quietness in the external world in order to tap into your internal world. So if you can find a retreat where obviously you can pray, that's not really called talking to other people. I used to run 4 or 5 day silent meditation retreats here in Israel before COVID. It's a very, very, very powerful spiritual tool to help you tap into your inner world and your peace and your calm. But understand that the main thing about Judaism is then we want to come back into the world and then be living from a more calm and present place. So Jewish spirituality doesn't say then just go and retreat to a cave or a temple for the rest of your life. We want to take the calm and the peace that we get from the retreat and then bring that into how we're functioning throughout the week. In fact, that's what Shabbat is. We don't not talk, but it's definitely a day where we have this spiritual kind of meditation retreat where we tap back deeply into our soul, but then we bring that into our week through blessings and through mitzvahs and through prayers. So we're really keeping the Shabbat energy of settling our mind and being present throughout the week. I feel that one of the main things in this was about relationships and just communicating. This is how I feel. I'm open, I'm vulnerable, and communication is really the key to coming to compromise and working on the emotional intimacy that we can actually get from working through differences and challenges together. I hope you guys are doing well. You're living better lives, more conscious lives, more playful lives, lives with more vitality. Like, share, notifications, subscribe. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.